What is going on, everyone? And in this video, I'll be giving you my UFC Vegas 85 main card predictions for the upcoming event taking place this Saturday, February 3rd, 2024, out of the UFC Apex. Main event, Dolidze versus Imavov, and like usual, an okay Apex card. Co-main event should be an absolute banger, and not Renato Moicano versus Dober. So I'm looking forward to it. For an Apex card, it's pretty decent. And then coming off of 5-7 last week, so the week before, yeah, not the best, but it is what it is. Hoping to bounce back and see what we can bring to this one. It started off the year really well, but then the next one just didn't go as I thought it would. So we'll see. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. In the first fight on the main card, we have Gilbert Urbina, 7-3, taking on Charles Radtke, 8-3. So pretty close records. Both guys coming off victories, and Radtke only has one fight in the UFC, and then I would Urbina has two fights, but that was the Ultimate Fighter one, and then his last one was actually more of like his first official non-Ultimate Fighter fight inside the UFC. So for Urbina, he's coming into this one with that victory in round number 2 via the kick, the front body kick. So that was a really good victory for him. A lot of kicks in his game. I think that's something that he can utilize in this fight. He's very heavy-handed. He did move down into the welterweight division, so I think he definitely looks a lot better in the welterweight division. He doesn't have to go up against too much of these guys that are going to be a lot just bigger than he is. Even though he is obviously pretty, 5'9" isn't the tallest, right? So, and he's gonna have the reach advantage in here. Good knees, good elbows in the clinch. He has solid takedowns, right? Definitely has some solid takedowns. Good ground and pound. I'm not sure if he's gonna be able to get those takedowns going in this one. It may be one of those. He has good wrestling, but more of like in this situation, it's gonna have to be used as defensive wrestling. He did show great control on the floor in his last fight, and he was able to actively try to finish the fight, right? So Urbina is not going to be this guy who just takes you down, sits there, and kind of just holds you on the position. He's going to go for the ground and pound, right? He's going to look to get some offense going on the fight. And in his last fight, too, great patience in that setup to the body kick to the stomach, right? To land that devastating shot to put him away. It wasn't like he was running out there super aggressive, going crazy. Like, he definitely set it up well, and we saw that it worked for him. For Charles Radtke in his last one, he took on Blood Diamond. He won the fight via unanimous decision. He got outstruck in that fight. He did land one takedown. It wasn't really the most exciting thing that you've seen, right? I think getting one takedown out of 6, so he missed on 5, wasn't the best. I mean, he showed good takedown defense against the one Blood Diamond shot on him. Those 3, he defended all 3. But, he ate some shots in that one. He also has some pretty good power. I'm interested in seeing if Radtke is gonna consistently try to get those takedowns going in this one. I would assume so, because I think on the feet, Urbina might be a little bit too much, just mixing in elbows, setting up more of a diverse attack. Now Radtke, he's pretty aggressive, but I think there's, like, some of these guys, they run in there, they have those big hooks, right? And they get in there, but they leave their chin exposed because they kind of like, oh, I'm gonna just be able to hit him and then put him down, but then it leaves them a little bit exposed. So that's a little concerning. Uh, he has good cardio, Radtke, so I think he'll be able to, he'll go for those takedowns. He'll keep coming, right? And he'll be able to not gas out. I don't think Radtke's gonna just gas out or anything. And he ate some clean shots from Blood Diamond too, so he has a tough chin. He definitely ate those shots, kept coming forward. Again, though, I think more so for Radtke would be his ability to walk down Urbina and then see if he can get those takedowns. I think if he can get those takedowns, then he's probably gonna win the fight. But at the same time, Urbina is gonna be able to, in my opinion, hopefully defend some of those takedowns, make the fight a lot more dangerous on the feet. Go right. If he's kicking his legs, he's kicking his body, he's gonna take out some of that forward pressure from Radtke. Maybe Radtke's not gonna be pressuring him so much. And then that leaves up space for Urbina to kind of keep breaking him down through the course of that first round, the second round, and leg kicks, right, going to the body. And then Radtke might slow down a little bit. And there might be an opportunity for Urbina to finish him. Unless really realistically for me, if Radtke wins, it's going to be by, I think, taking Urbina down and then him just not being able to get up, which would be more of like a decision kind of thing where Radtke just kind of dominates with the control. But on the feet, I'd like to see Urbina. I think he might mix it up a little bit better. Has to be careful, right? Doesn't want to get into too many wild exchanges and get just put on his ass and then finished. But I think he's going to have a little bit more diversity, right? Elbows, go to the body, try to pace it a little bit. And then maybe in that second round, see if you can pick it up a little bit more, utilize maybe a speed advantage, take advantage of Radtke being aggressive and start lighting him up and see if you can break him down to get to the finish. So I'm gonna go Gerber. I'm gonna go Gilbert Urbina to defeat Charles Radtke. I'll take him to win by round 2 KO TKO. In the second fight on the main card, we have Salikhov Khizriev 14-0 taking on Makhmud Muradov 26-8 in a middleweight bout. So I think this fight is pretty straightforward, right? If Muradov can stop any of these takedowns, keep the pressure going, be aggressive, and just get in the face of Khizriev and not let him take him down, maybe Muradov is going to be able to find some success here. Now, for Khizriev, I think he's just going to go right at him. I think his striking is a little bit better than some of these guys that just like to go in for the takedowns. I think if he's able to get the fight to the floor, he's going to start smothering him. I understand that Muradov has 77% takedown defense in the fights that he has overall, but he did get taken down 3 times by Gerald Meerschaert, and then he was submitted. I think we look for something similar, right? He is not fighting Bryan Barberena again. This is not Salikhov Khizriev is not Bryan Barberena. So he's not going to be able to take him down 13 times. He's going to have to worry about getting taken down 13 times. But I don't think Khizriev is one of these guys who is going to just take you down 40 times, right? Or 20 times or whatever it may be, and just kind of lay in your guard and hit you a little bit here, hit you a little bit there. Like, no, he's going to take you down. He's going to try to submit you. Like, that's pretty obvious. And he wants to be dominant. He's undefeated. So let's, for the sake of Muradov, I would hope that he tries to go right out there, guns blazing, get in his face, stuff a takedown or two, light him up. But like I said, I think Khizriev also has some pretty good stand-up. I think he's heavy-handed, so Muradov has to be careful too, right? That's the scary guys that are pretty good on the feet and then really good on the floor. That's the problem. So for me, without thinking about it too much, and how can Muradov win? Because I think he can win. It's just he's going to have to do a lot more than Khizriev in this one. So I'm going to go Salikhov Khizriev to defeat Makhmud Muradov. I'll take him to win by round 1 submission. In the third fight on the main card, we have Viviane Araujo, 12-5, taking on Natália Silva, 16-5-1. Now, for this one, if Araujo is able to win this fight, she's obviously, I think, going to win or lose by a decision. I think she's pretty tough too. She definitely eats some shots, and against someone like Natália Silva, who's going to come in here with a variety of a kicking game and a lot of strikes, come forward. She's mixing up the combinations, has the potential to put up the volume as well. I think she's going to get lit up, right? I think Araujo, she can pressure. She's not the most technical, right? She's trying to land a big shot here or there, and then obviously get the takedown going. In the fights where she's been outstruck, she's lost, right? That's kind of how it goes. In the fights where she's able to get that grappling going, or at least make it competitive when it comes to the wrestling, to the grappling, she's able to win those. I just don't think Silva's going to be taken down here. I think just having that ability to put up those strikes, throw a lot of kicks out there, keep distance, have a lot of movement, she's going to just light her up. And then it'll clearly be after 3 rounds who's winning the fight, right? But if Araujo wants to win, it's by her taking her down consistently and getting those victories there. But I just don't see that happening. I think this is a really good matchup to show that Natália Silva is here, right? She's fighting someone that has a decent amount of fights inside the UFC, and it's tough, right? Maybe she is able to get the finish here, Natália Silva, if she's able to light her up. She has some finishes, but that would even be more impressive. But I think for me, she lights her up for 3 rounds and just shows her why, right? Her chin is a little high, but I don't think she has to worry about that here. I don't think Araujo's going to be able to get in close enough and do the damage that she wants, because she's going to be eating shots, right? That's just how it works. And I don't think her wrestling is going to slow down Silva enough. Maybe she's able to hold her up against the fence, but I don't think it's going to be like Araujo's taking her down 5 times or something. I think she just isn't going to give her that opportunity. And then keeping a little bit of a distance, pop shotting her. It's just going to be a lot of an annoyance. And I think it could be pretty dominant. So I'm going to go Natália Silva to defeat Viviane Araujo. I'll take her to win by decision. In the fourth fight on the main card, we have Randy Brown, 17-5, taking out Muslim Salikhov, 19-4 in a welterweight bout. So for Randy Brown, he's coming off a victory over Wellington Turman via unanimous decision. Gets 2 takedowns in that one and outstrikes him 64-55. It's a pretty good win for him. I think he is most of the time going to have the range, right? He's going to have that range advantage, and it does a lot for him. Now, in this fight, he's going to have an 8-inch reach advantage, but to me, Brown eats a lot of kicks, and he doesn't really check them. And Salikhov, I think, is going to try to kick his legs a lot and close that distance and hit him with heavy shots. And now Salikhov did not get that victory against Nicholas Dalby, but I just don't think Randy Brown's going to be fighting Salikhov how Dalby fought him, right? Very gritty, in his face, putting up the combinations, like trying to get that volume going. I just don't see that. Now, Salikhov also has pretty good takedown defense. So is Brown going to be able to take him down, right, consistently? Or are we going to see Salikhov take him down? Either way, early on, I wouldn't, for Salikhov, try to even engage in the grappling, right? I wouldn't try to do that. I would definitely try to keep this fight standing. He has the ability to throw spinning back kicks, right? He can come out of nowhere with a lot of power. He does have that loss in his last one, like I said, against Nicholas Dalby, but I just don't think Randy Brown's going to fight him like that. And he obviously lost against Li Jingliang, but again, I don't look at Randy Brown and see him as a guy who's knocking people out like that. Now, he definitely has dangerous submission skills, and he does have the ability to put up a good amount of volume, but I don't know. It's just that not checking that leg kick, he kind of relies on that, and he relies a lot on his jab, but I think Salikhov's going to try to make this fight ugly, get in his face, and just throw down with him, and I'm just not sure Brown's going to be able to deal with pressure like that. And I just, like I said, I don't see Randy Brown fighting the fight that Nicholas Dalby did. Now, that being said, Randy Brown obviously has some pretty good wins, right? Really, in his last six fights, he's only lost once, and it was against Jack Della Maddalena, which is not a bad loss to have. He took out Francisco Trinaldo, Chaos Williams, split decision, Jared Gordon, unanimous decision, Alex Oliveira, who's no longer in the UFC, submission. He has the ability to get submissions, but I think when he starts getting kicked to death and he starts getting pressured and guys are landing heavy shots at him, he's just not able to keep up. If he can utilize leg kicks of his own, keep a distance, keep that jab. It's kind of like Neil Magny, in my opinion, right? Maybe sneaking a takedown here and there, try to go for a submission. Like he's one of those guys where he's so lengthy, but he could win. But I don't think he's like Neil Magny, where he's going to pull off a submission at the last second or something like that. I think Salikhov's going to be able to get in his face. And I think Salikhov is the underdog in this one. So I'm interested to see how he handles coming in here, being an underdog. Because I think Salikhov has a clear way to win, which is closing down Randy Brown, leg kicking him, throwing shots, hitting him with unexpected big power shots, pressuring him against the fence, just making it an ugly fight where Randy Brown's forced to kind of back up, and he's not going to like that. So I'm going to go Muslim Salikhov to defeat Randy Brown. Also going to win by decision. In the co-main event of the evening, we have Renato Moicano, 17-5, and he'll be taking on Drew Dober, who is 27-12 with 1 no contest in a lightweight bout. And so this is a very good fight. I think this is fight of the night up until for however long it doesn't last, right? Obviously, I think both guys are going to try to go out there. And eventually, Moicano, I think, is more of a long-term breakdown, finish him, and then Drew Dober is just going to go right in there and try to take his head off. Now, the issue I have with this fight for Drew Dober is, like, yes, if he's landing hard shots and he's getting in there, like, he can just take you out. We saw that Ricky Glenn, we saw that Bobby Green, we saw that Rafael Alves, like Terrence McKinney. At any moment, he can just take you out, right? He's landing these big hooks, but with that aggression, with that ability to knock someone out like that and pressure, you're getting right into the range of, against a dangerous striker who might be a little bit more technical than you, finds opportunities to light you up, take advantage of the aggression, right? And we saw that against Matt Frivola, where Frivola took advantage of the overly aggressiveness of Drew Dober, because Dober's right in there with him, right? Gubbing right on, leaves the chin exposed, gets taken out. Like we've seen it before, right? Now for Moicano, could see like Drew Dober coming forward, pressuring, and then boom, lands a big shot, takes him out. Like it could happen. But my thing is, I'm hoping that Moicano is able to slow the fight down, right? What does that mean? Well, I hope he's able to get a takedown, right? Or I hope he's able to take advantage of Dober getting a little bit too close, a little bit too aggressive, and then maybe switching into a grappling position, right? Getting a takedown, pressing him against the fence, pulling into a submission to where it throws him off. Because obviously Moicano's not going to want to just trade back and forth with him. Like, he's going to have to find ways to slow down Dober, and obviously that's going to be with the leg kicks. Now he has to be worried about with the leg kicks and then getting countered off those leg kicks. He needs to be patient. Moicano, patient, utilize his jab, and just slow the fight down until he has the opportunity to possibly go in for a submission. Now, Dober, it'd be interesting to see how he handles this one. I think he is going to try to just be aggressive, pressure forward, get Moicano to turtle, and then hopefully he lands one of his big shots and put him away. And that could very be how the fight goes within a matter of seconds or the first minute, right? He just pressures him. Moicano has nothing for him, and then he gets just put down. But I don't know. I don't think that style, like, it's very exciting, right? To be like, oh, Dober's fighting. Like, you never know what's going to happen. Someone's going to get absolutely just destroyed or whatever. But it's not really, like, I feel like against a better fighter who's a little bit more put together. Like, when he took out Bobby Green, Bobby Green's trading back and forth with this dude. Like, why? Like, you know what I mean? Like, why is Bobby Green trading back and forth with Dober? Like, it's not the smartest decision. Same thing with Matt Frevola. Frevola ended up on the right side of that. But how many times have you seen just two guys? It's a matter of who lands first, right? Or whatever. It's just not smart. So I would hope, and even in the Terrence McKinney fight, McKinney was winning that fight up until that moment. So Moicano, if he plays safe and initiates in the grappling, which we have seen, right? I know Moicano might not be Islam Makhachev, but we have seen Dober be submitted. Right? We've seen him lose the decision when Brad Riddell took him down 5 times. So there is a way to get it. You just have to slow the fight down and out grapple him. If Moicano goes out here and starts trading back and forth with him, it's all over. Maybe he wins, but would not want to be seeing that. So I'm gonna go on the one where Moicano, the separate multiverse where Moicano doesn't get annihilated in 10 seconds. I'm going to take him to defeat Dober. I'll take him to win by round 2 submission. In the main event of the evening, we have Roman Dolidze, 12-2, taking on Nasruddin Imavov, 12-4-1, no contest in a middleweight bout. And so this is a really good fight. Dolidze's coming into this one super aggressive, right? He's coming in off of a pretty good loss. How can you say it's a good loss? What do you mean by that? Well, I understand that Vettori won the fight, outstruck him 106-71 significant strikes, but Dolidze hung in there, right? He was able to go against a guy who has granite chin, who's fought the best of the best in the division, and he held his own in there. Now, granted, he was not able to get a takedown. He only went for one, and he got outstruck, but he showed that he's tough as hell, right? He's gonna try and go in there and break these guys down, and I think that's pretty good. Now, I don't know if he's going to be able to, like, take down Imavov in this one, especially if Imavov's picking him apart from a distance, right? Fighting very technical as he does, throwing the kicks out there. If they're in close, slamming in elbows. A lot more. I think Imavov's going to have a speed advantage here. Whereas Dolidze, he's going to have just that brute force style where he's going to walk you down. He's going to pressure you, eat some shots, and just try to deliver on those hooks because he's throwing these big hooks. But against a better striker like Imavov, who I think is a better striker technically from that standpoint, not necessarily from if you just put two guys in a phone booth, who's going to walk out. I mean, I'm picking Dolidze, but Imavov probably has the better way to keep the kicks going, right? Keep that distance. Whereas Dolidze, he's going to leave himself a little exposed when he runs in there. And that to me is sketchy. I understand Dolidze is tough, but again, we do this thing where we're like, oh, the guy can't get knocked out. And then he goes out there and just gets absolutely just annihilated with a 1-2 combination, right? By someone like Sean Strickland or something like that. So Imavov could definitely hurt Dolidze and vice versa. We know that. But I wouldn't just write off Imavov's power and speed. He did lose against Sean Strickland, but and I think if anything, you look to that fight and think, well, Dolidze can kind of just do what Sean Strickland did, right? Walk him down, get in his face, maybe mix in a takedown. But again, man, it's like you gotta give these guys opportunity to show that they have improved from fight to fight. Imavov taking on someone like Sean Strickland and then fighting someone like Chris Curtis, who, granted, it was a no contest, but I mean, Imavov was probably winning that fight, obviously, in the striking and in the takedowns up until that moment. And we saw Chris Curtis, very good takedown defense and then he gets taken down 3 times by Imavov. So it's like, you could say like, oh, Imavov's gonna get smothered in this one, and which could happen. I'm not saying that can't happen. I'm not saying Dolidze doesn't take him down and just mount him and just kill him, but I think Imavov is a little bit more scary than people are kind of giving him credit. I think Imavov has the ability to kind of keep Dolidze at bay, light him up, frustrate him. Especially after fighting Sean Strickland. And when he fought Chris Curtis, I mean, that was a really good win, because what does Curtis need to do, right? Chris Curtis needs to get on the inside. He needs to close the distance. He tries to land those big shots and close. But he was able to, like, keep him away, right? With a teep kick, goes after his knee, that classic kick, go for the leg kick, slow him down a little bit, because there is going to be opportunity for Imavov to light him up when he comes in too aggressive, when he throws those big hooks. His chin's going to be there. So if he can step out of the way and counter back, I mean, it might make Dolidze a little bit hesitant to rush in on him like that. And then with the grappling and the wrestling, I'm not too sure Dolidze is going to be able to even get in there and go for that. And we don't know if Imavov's able to, like, kind of reverse a position or implement his own submissions. So we'll see. I think it's a really good fight. I think it's a tough fight for both guys. I think if Dolidze wins, it's probably by a finish, and if Imavov wins, it's probably by maybe a finish, but I'm leaning more towards a decision type of victory. Just because I think Imavov, if he's not hurting him badly early on, Dolidze is probably going to stay in there, and it's just going to be a tough fight, and we'll have to see. My concern is if it goes to a decision, though, that Imavov is tiring out, so he's really going to have to hurt him badly early on to kind of get the respect going in the striking and let Dolidze know, you can't just walk me down and try to just take me out with hooks. So we'll see what happens. I think it's a pretty good main event, right? For an Apex card, it's an interesting one. We'll see where this puts these guys in the division, and whoever wins this, depending on how they win, maybe they're right up there at this point with how many times this middleweight division title could change in the next year. We'll see. So I'm gonna go Nasruddin Imavov to defeat Roman Dolidze. I'll take him to win by a decision. So that'll do it, guys, for my UFC Vegas 85 main card predictions. Leave your comments down below. Tell me who you're picking. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button if you want more UFC predictions. And like always, I'll see you guys in the next video.